This video is on plate tectonics and looking at in more detail what the plate is, how they move, the composition, different size of plates, the types of plates, and the kinds of boundaries that occur or are formed when these plates meet around the world. This is the Earth Science Classroom. So to discuss plate tectonics, you first have to consider and review the Earth's interior and the layers beneath the initial surface, crust, and lithosphere, which are combined to form a tectonic plate. Now the crust comes in two types, the oceanic, which is thinner, and the continental, which is thicker. And they're both part of the lithosphere. It goes down to about 100 kilometers, then you get the asthenosphere. The asthenosphere is the main layer we're going to focus on for this topic because it really controls the movement of the plate tectonic system or mechanism. The convection currents are created from the internal heat of the Earth, from the mesosphere up to the crust, the release of heat, and the process of transferring heat through hot and cold areas. And this convection current is a big cycle within the asthenosphere, which is weak and plastic and can flow. This is also where we have our magma. It gets too hot at a certain depth, about 150 kilometers down, and you get the creation and formation of magma, that molten rock. And this will add into the flow of the asthenosphere. Now the flow in certain directions will then literally drag the above plate, which is lithosphere and crust, with it along with this convection current. So the convection current is the main mechanism or machine that's going to drive the movement of the crust, which includes seafloor spreading, and also is one of the reasons why, or main reason why, Wegener in 1912 was correct about the drift, and also Hess and Viner Matthews with the ocean ridge, the age, and the paleomagnetism. So the convection currents in the asthenosphere is a driving force for plate tectonics. So here we have a two-dimensional flat projection of the Earth's surface, and we have all the continents and islands, and also we have the countries outlined, and we have the thicker black lines, which are the plate boundaries. Now the plate boundary is where two or more plates meet. Now this can be in different types and characteristics, but the boundary or margin is where two plates meet. And this is where we're going to focus most of our discussions in this video. So a tectonic plate is the combination of the crust and lithosphere, and the crust again comes in two types, oceanic and continental. So we get two types of plates. We get an oceanic plate and a continental plate. Now they are defined by the majority surface condition on that plate. So on the surface, if it's a massive ocean, it'll be oceanic. If it's a solid landmass above sea level, like North America, then it will be a continental plate. Again, a lot of these plates have a mixture or ratio of some ocean and land, and others have more land or basically all ocean, like the Pacific. Now these plates come in different sizes, obviously different shapes based on the boundaries, but the different sizes are classified into major, which is usually large, or minor, which is small, and occasionally micro, which are very small. But in this video, we're going to focus on major and minor plates. Now, the obvious major plates are the Antarctic plate, the North American plate, the South American plate, Eurasian plate, Pacific plate, Indo-Australian plate, and the African plate. The minor plates, which are very small or smaller, are the Cocos plate, which is awesomely named, the Juan de Fuca, which could be a microplate, but in this case, we'll call it a minor plate. On the west coast of America, or North America, we have the Caribbean plate, or Caribbean plate, the Scotia plate, Arabian plate, Philippine plate, and the Nazca plate. So for example, when you combine both the oceanic, continental, or major and minor, you get a more definitive description or definition of the plate. So the Pacific plate would be an oceanic plate, and it's also a major plate. The North American plate would be continental and also a major plate. The Cocos plate would be an oceanic plate that is also a minor plate. So the combinations can help define the plate. So looking at plate boundaries, which is the combination or meeting point of two or more plates. you get three types of movement. You get the movement towards each other, which is called convergent, the movement away from each other, which is called divergent, and the movement across or parallel or next to or adjacent each other, kind of sliding past each other, which is called transform. These three types of plates come in different sizes and shapes with different combinations of oceanic, continental, major and minor, and they happen all around the world. Now the first plate boundary we're going to look at in more detail is the divergent plate boundary, where the seafloor spreading occurs that Hess found with sonar, and the mid-ocean ridge is the location of the divergence, and this is shown in the highlighted blue on the map. This continuous blue line, this continuous volcanic mountain ridge that is on the ocean floor, majority is on the ocean floor, goes around the entire planet, and there's a section that goes through the Red Sea and through the East Africa Rift Valley, which is a continental rift valley, which is the same thing as the mid-ocean ridge, but on land. Then we have the convergent plate boundary, and there's different types, but generally the convergent plate boundary is shown here in orange and covers different parts of the plate boundaries around the world, and we can see where the divergent plate boundary is pushing the plate away, and the convergent plate is where the two plates are meeting and colliding. Then the final plate boundary in green is going to be the transform plate boundary. So this is a conservative plate boundary, which means that neither it's created or destroyed, because the divergent plate boundary is where it is created and the convergent is where it's destroyed, either in collision or through subduction. And the transform plate boundary is where they slide past each other, and you do get earthquakes occurring there, but really is kind of a quiet plate boundary. So as you can see, with the combination of the blue, the orange and the green, you have the majority of the plate boundaries kind of highlighted in different colors, and you can see the relationship and how they're moving and the direction of movement when you add in the arrows for divergent, convergent and transform. So to understand plate boundaries and plate tectonics, you can build the foundation of knowledge which will bring you to looking at more detail into things like trenches, subduction zones, ancient plates, basin and range, tectonics, upwelling and rising of magma plumes and volcanic islands like Hawaii, and hotspots, global hotspots like Yellowstone, looking at earthquakes and how the crust deforms and releases energy due to the movement. So all of these natural disasters, from earthquakes and seismology to volcanoes and magma, come from and derive from the mechanism of convection currents moving these plates in pieces around the Earth and causing these release of energy through magma and the release of energy through seismic waves through the Earth, causing earthquakes. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, please subscribe and maybe hit the like button. If you like more on this content, please check out my channel, which has all these videos on Earth science.